Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to be diving deeper into Ripple's XRP and continue to discuss on why this is still a very bullish coin despite all of the fluctuations happening within the markets right now. It's all, of course, in my opinion, with the current data given on both the macro and on the micro timeframes, that gives us a little bit more confidence that XRP might be going for a massive run in the coming year or so. Now, just a quick recap, XRP has been accumulating for about 6 to 8 years or so, depending on which area of peaks you are looking at. But generally, we have been accumulating for a very long time and stuck between the 20-cent and also the dollar range, basically. This makes XRP one of the most accumulated coins out of all of the crypto coins available, which makes it a very unique category in itself. Now, besides the massive triangle pattern that we may be in, which is an accumulation pattern in itself, where the Elliott Wave sequence of waves is built as a 3-3-3-3-3 pattern comprised of ABCs or 1WXY, this makes it unusually bullish, considering that everything we have gone through from the SEC case, trying to also destroy XRP's reputation as a security, and the unusual higher lows that XRP has also been creating on the price action. Now, the criteria for me specifically when looking for breakouts is, of course, first of all, are we in an accumulation? That's the very first thing that I look for. I've already answered that. It's a resounding yes. But there are a few more checkboxes that we must check off before we really consider a high probability breakout. Now, these are the checkpoints that we have to be considering. The first being, are there higher lows being created within the price action of the accumulation range? I already talked about it. Yes, this is one of the first things as an investor or trader should be looking into. These higher lows within the price action is a very important technical indicator that traders and investors often look at to assess the overall trend and potential future direction, meaning that higher lows suggest that each time the price pulls back, this is an extremely great sign that there is demand with each pullback happening. This indicates that buyers are stepping in earlier, showing a major increase in demand. It's a classic sign of an uptrend, basically. So these levels can act as a floor where where the price might find support in the future as well, and it reinforces the strength of these support levels. We haven't even come back to retest these higher lows, which is extremely bullish and unusual right now. Now, the second checkbox, it's the market sentiment and news. Community backing, basically. Very important factors. XRP has not only one of the strongest backings from the community side of things, but more importantly, these past 2 to 3 years, the judge has ruled in an astounding favorability for Ripple, which is not only setting a regulatory framework for the crypto industry altogether. Many are pretty much disregarding on giving Ripple a big thank you note. That's just kind of a side rant, but they're doing everyone a favor. So this is great news, especially with Ripple's recent partial victory on how they can't be sued again. Ripple will be paying the $125 million fine to the SEC within the next 10 days. In fact, that's a completely different topic, however. Now, whether the SEC appeals or not is something that we also have to look forward to. But again, major favorability is going to be going into Ripple already. And lastly, with all of the observations combined, do we have any justified or clear Elliott Wave pattern that works upon an accumulation pattern? And yes, we do, the triangle. So we have all of the necessary components for the triangle as well. So the first two check marks are pretty much what the general market sees, but if we as an Elliott Wave analyst can build upon these observations, we may be one step ahead of the game and be far more confident in our risk management approach in terms of where to buy and how to efficiently build our positions. So we may be one step ahead of the game entirely. So far, the puzzle fits with this current Elliott Wave triangle pattern. Now, we've already discussed this triangle pattern in its entirety in the previous videos, so we won't go into it, but the major thing is the Elliott Wave theory provides us, especially with these patterns, clear invalidation levels. Now, the soft invalidation level here, as you can see, and then we have the hard invalidation of the triangle, which is the most important thing, which is going to be below this subwave C. If we do breach below that, we have a very clear sign that there is going to be a major weakness, not only within the price action, but possibly going forward for the SEC and the Ripple case, and also in conjunction with seeing possibly major lows if this level breaks. So we'll have to continue to monitor if these levels break. But so far, we've been creating higher lows insanely on not only the year over year chart, but also on the monthly charts and also on the weekly charts. This is extremely bullish, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, this current pattern is extremely bullish, and we anticipate to eventually break this BD trend line. So with that being said, how can the current micro time frames give us a little bit more information? We've talked about this in the previous videos as well, but let's do a quick recap. Now, this last part is the corrective move of either the 1, 2 of a larger degree, or if this is the part of the triangle, which is still our primary idea, it has to be fitted as an ABC. So this is kind of how it's going to be built as the final move to the downside. And we're pretty confident, even as Elliottians, that this is pretty much the bottom, the last straw for XRP to kind of validate this. Even though this is the soft invalidation level, we would be pretty nervous if it starts to break those levels. So with that being said, we do have a clear 5-wave move to the downside for this wave C, and this move here, since it was 5-way moves, that could fit into both the 1-2 idea and part of the ABC of the triangle, since it is an actionary wave in itself. Now, zooming in even further, what's important about this is how we're going to be continuing to the upside and breaking that trend line eventually, because the trend line, that BD trend line, is the last sort of major resistance that we have upon us, and how this level plays out from a bottom-up analysis, it's going to be very crucial. But the most important observation is that we did a 76% move off of the lows. That's incredibly large. That's not something that we should be brushing off. We did a massive drop, and then we got another massive move to the upside, basically coming back to the all-time highs of this current range. That's insane. That's showing not only strength, but signs that we're ready to actually break out of that possible trend line, of that BD trend line, of that triangle. So with that being said, to construct it, we need 5 waves off the lows, especially with a major move off these lows of a 76%. That's absolutely a classic sign of an impulse to the upside. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. Depending on your termination of wave 5, you can have it terminated here and have your wave 1 placed here of the higher degree, where this can start turning into an ABC. Now, this is where things get a little bit trickier on the micro time frames, because there comes a lot of variabilities. So if in the fact that we did finish this 1, 2 of the primary degree, we have another clear 5-wave move off of the lows. This was really strong as well. So that brings us into one lesser degree in terms of the hierarchy degrees. We're working in this intermediate orange 1, 2. We are working pretty correctively right now. So if we're in a controlled corrective pattern, this is still giving us a pretty clear sign that we may be working towards higher levels, and we just may be working in one lesser degree to extend the possible wave 3 of the primary degree in yellow, which means that we need 5 waves up to complete a possible primary wave 5. So we have to zoom out again. Let's say that this wave 2 is either complete, which is still valid until it actually breaks this, but it's a pretty good probability that we're going to come down and fill this wave Y, but really no difference. I really don't mind if we do come back down like this. But the most important thing is the follow-up. We're going to be breaking out of this trend line with this possible wave 3. We're going to do a 4, 5, and then this wave 3, 4, 5. That is how we're going to be looking for the typical Elliott wave fashion in the sequence of how this impulse is going to be playing out. So that is pretty much the only way we're going to be looking at it, ladies and gentlemen. This possible 1, 2 being complete is a very high possibility right now with the current data given. Now, what if we're in a possible different pattern? What if we're in a deeper wave 1, 2? That would start to extend it larger in size, but in terms of, overall time and size, it's not going to be perfect, especially with XRP, because it has such low volatility when it comes after these major bursts. You just got to wait. We don't know exactly, but for the main part is that if we zoom out, we have a very clear ABC to the downside that's complete, and we do a bottom-up analysis and we look at the overall construction of the triangle. This is what we need to be doing. We have years of data. Number one, we have the community backing coin favorability in our favor. Is the Elliott wave pattern fulfilled for the triangle? Absolutely. Usually, if you have only waves C and D, the favorability of that pattern in itself goes down quite a bit, but we have all of the necessary components. And are there higher lows being created? Yes. So if those 3 check marks are ticked off, we are absolutely in a very, very good position for the possibility of a higher move to the upside, especially that we are above the soft invalidation level. So hopefully that was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe a little bit more information coming forward with the SEC case, but we don't know exactly what's going to be happening. So right now, with the current data given, it's still a green light to me specifically that we may be looking for a very conservative 10x to the upside around the $5 to $10. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.